So you think, well, so basically what we need is you need Cancer Cousins.
Cancer Cousins. Yeah, man, I need Cancer Cousins. I need him to go in there from the inside and completely make all of the vital organs of the Golden State Warriors turn to jelly. I mean, I think that's what we all need. No, look, I'm just saying, if he's his booginess, his best booginess in terms of game, less booginess in terms of mental, it's a wrap. Like,
but that's always the thing. That's always the thing with him. But you're right. You know, he's got some rehab to do, but we're not evaluating this until we're fully into the postseason and the finals, and he'll be healthy by then. And you know, how he integrates later, I think actually that's an advantage for them. I think if he was actually on the court all season long, there'd be plenty of time for that Cancer Cousins to fester and spread. But I think because he's going to be chomping at the bit when he finally gets to play, it's kind of a shortened season, and they'll figure out how to get him out there and make the best of it. I actually think it'll probably go very, very successfully. So I guess we'll see. The question will really come down to not just the Celtics defensively, like we were just kind of talking about with the starting five and how to get set up for the postseason, but also that whole offense to start the game. But they are going to need that. They're going to need to basically try to outshoot the Warriors, right? Like they're going to have to be able to put up, and that's going to be very tough, but they're going to have to be able to put up those same kind of points. So I'm going to go to something that Goodman said on that video from the practice facility on Celtics blog and CLNS media that we talked about earlier. And he said that Tatum, he believes, is the second option, which would put him ahead of Horford and Hayward. And I can understand ahead of Horford just because that's how Horford would have it. But ahead of Hayward kind of is surprising. And maybe he just meant to start the year because Hayward's going to be kind of getting himself going again. I have a hard time envisioning that we'll see Tatum being the number 2 option. I really think it's going to be Kyrie. It's going to be Hayward. Then it definitely goes to Tatum for me, Horford, and then, you know, Jaylen Brown is kind of sitting in that 5 spot, which is actually a real advantage for him. If people are doubling anywhere else and sleeping, I can see Jaylen setting up in the corner, and then instead of taking the corner 3, just coming right along baseline on that weak side and throwing down a dunk. I think they can do a lot of creative things offensively. But is Tatum really the number 2 option in your mind, John, all season long? I mean, I think he gets there, but is he with a healthy Gordon Hayward?
I think Jeff's reaching on that one. Look, I think Tatum has a real shot to be there. I think he has a real shot to be there by the end of the year. But I think Gordon Hayward is a multi-time All-Star, former third team. I mean, the guy can play, and you could, I suppose you could say, well, he's slow, he's coming back, and you know, in that time, Tatum has been on a steady progression. But that's just kind of, I think it's just kind of silly to me. I think Tatum has got to prove it. Like, that's where we are right now with Tatum and Brown. They're both in the prove it stage. You know, like they have potential to be something. But at this point, they need to prove it. They need to go out there on the court and take it. You know, like this whole thing about, you know, like the rank and the SI rank and all these different things talking about how good they could be, what their 2K rank is, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all just talk, right? At this point, they got to go out there and do it. And I'm just kind of, I understand what Goodman's saying, and Tatum has that ability, but I just,
and depending on what he's been doing in the offseason,
the guy, let's not anoint him.
I agree. We don't anoint him. I think the only question mark is because Hayward hasn't been there, but I think everybody will remember what kind of a shooter Hayward is when he comes back. And not that Tatum isn't a lights out shooter and didn't show us some crazy, awesome stuff in his freshman year. I mean, that whole rookie endeavor was pretty awesome, and it was born out of injury that he had such an opportunity to showcase himself. But and I do think he'll get better with more attention drawn other places. But whether we see or the Celtics see Tatum as the number 2 option, I guarantee you, when opposing teams are game planning for the Celtics, they're game planning as Hayward is the second option, not Tatum. And they're just trying to make sure they don't get burned by Tatum as a result.